Hi everyone, welcome to the F1 Fantasy Strategist channel. Are you feeling lost in the world of F1 Fantasy? Don't worry, we've got you covered. In this beginner's guide, we'll explain everything you need to know to get started and dominate your leagues. From the point scoring system to the chips, this video will cover it all. First things first, let's talk about what F1 Fantasy is all about. F1 Fantasy is an officially licensed game that lets you create your own fantasy team of drivers and constructors and score points based on their performance in real-life races. The game is designed to test your knowledge and strategy, as you have to make smart decisions about who to include in your team and when to make transfers. Understanding the basics is crucial before diving into the details of the game. F1 races have a total of 20 drivers and 10 teams that participate. During a typical race weekend, drivers will have practice sessions, qualifying, and the race. There are also some weekends where sprint races will take place, which we'll delve into further later on. To succeed in F1 Fantasy, you need to understand how drivers and constructors earn points. This is determined by their performance in the Grand Prix weekend. Let's break it down. During qualifying, drivers will simply earn points based on their qualifying results. Pole position, first place, will earn the driver 10 points, second earns 9 points, and so on, with 10th place earning 1 point. Drivers who finish outside the top 10 won't earn any points. Furthermore, if they don't set a time during Q1, they'll lose 5 points, and if they're disqualified, they'll lose 15 points. In addition to scoring points for the combined total of their two drivers in qualifying, constructors can also earn or lose points based on other factors. If neither driver reaches Q2, the constructor loses 1 point. If one driver reaches Q2, the constructor gains 1 point. If both drivers reach Q2, the constructor gains 3 points. If one driver reaches Q3, the constructor gains 5 points. And finally, if both drivers reach Q3, the constructor earns 10 points. Let's use an example with McLaren as a constructor. Driver A qualifies in 2nd position and driver B qualifies in 6th position. Driver A will earn 9 points for qualifying in 2nd position, whilst driver B will earn 5 points for qualifying in 6th position. Both drivers have qualified for Q3, so the constructor gains an additional 10 points. McLaren as a constructor will therefore earn 9 plus 5 points for their qualifying position, 10 points as both drivers qualified for Q3, resulting in a haul of 24 points for the constructor at the qualifying stage. Now let's talk about how drivers and constructors earn points during the race. For drivers, the scoring system is based on their finishing position and overtaking other drivers. For every position gained, a driver earns 1 point, while every position lost will deduct 1 point. In addition, drivers earn 1 point for each overtake they make during the race. The driver who sets the fastest lap will receive 10 points, and the driver of the day will receive 10 points. It's important to know the difference between overtakes and positions gained. Overtakes only count when one driver legally passes another driver on track, and the driver passed was not entering or in the pit lane or suffering a car failure or going unreasonably slow, while positions gained or lost are simply calculated based on the starting and finishing position of the driver in the race. The race result will determine the points distribution, with the winner receiving 25 points, the second place driver receiving 18 points, and so on all the way down to 10th place, just like the official F1 point scoring system. Any driver who is disqualified from the race will lose 25 points, and those who are unclassified will lose 20 points. It's important to note that a driver is classified as long as they complete at least 90% of the race. For instance, if a driver crashes on lap 55 out of a 60-lap race, they will have completed the 90% required to be classified, and therefore will not lose the 20 points. Moving on to constructors. They score points for the combined total of their two drivers in the race, except for the driver of the day bonus. In addition, constructors earn points based on the fastest pit stops. The team with the fastest pit stop will receive 10 points. The second fastest pit stop will receive 5 points, and the third fastest pit stop will receive 3 points. The constructors may in fact earn up to a total of 18 points if they have the 3 fastest pit stops during the race. So keep an eye out for the pit stop times if there's a team during the season that is particularly fast in the pits. They might score you some crucial points. Now, let's pull all these scoring metrics together with an example. Suppose driver A and driver B from McLaren start 5th and 7th on the grid. When the race is done, they finish 4th and 8th respectively. Driver A will earn 12 points for finishing 4th, whilst driver B will earn 4 points for finishing 8th. Additionally, driver A overtakes 3 cars during the race, earning an extra 3 points, whilst driver B overtakes 2 cars, resulting in 2 extra points. Driver A also sets the fastest lap of the race, earning them an additional 10 points. McLaren also manages to get the 3 fastest pit stop times, resulting in an extra 18 points for the constructors. McLaren as a constructor will therefore earn 12 plus 4 points because of their driver's finishing position, 1 minus 1 points for gaining or losing positions from where they started, 3 plus 2 points for the overtake bonus, 10 points because driver A set the fastest lap of the race, 10 plus 5 plus 3 points because they had the first, second and third fastest pit stop times, resulting in a haul of 49 points. And that's how points are scored during the race stage. Let's move on to the sprint. For the 2023 season, there will be a total of 6 sprint races. These races will be using a special point scoring system, and because of that, there may be a couple of different strategies you could approach to maximize your points when the weekends arrive. During the sprint, drivers can earn points for their finishing position, as well as for overtaking other drivers, positions gained and getting the fastest lap. Just like in a regular race. Every position gained is worth 1 point, while every position lost will deduct 1 point. Drivers will also earn 1 point for each overtake they make. Additionally, the driver who sets the fastest lap will receive 5 points. The winner of the sprint receives 8 points, second place receives 7 points, and so on, with 8th place earning 1 point, and 9th to 20th earning 0 points. Unclassified drivers will not have any positions lost calculated. Instead, they will only receive a 20-point penalty. Any driver who is disqualified will also lose 25 points. Constructors will score points for the combined total of their 2 drivers in the sprint. Let's use an example. Driver A and driver B from McLaren start 12th and 14th. At the end of the sprint race, driver A finishes 6th, while driver B finishes 10th. Driver A gained 6 positions, and driver B gained 4 positions from where they started. Driver A overtakes 5 drivers, while driver B overtakes 3 drivers. Based on these results, driver A will earn 3 points for his finishing position, 6 points for gaining positions from where they started, and 5 points for making 5 overtakes. Driver B will earn 0 points for his finishing position, 4 points for gaining positions from where they started, and finally 3 points for making 3 overtakes. Based on the results, McLaren as a constructor will earn 3 plus 0 points for the driver's finishing position, 6 plus 4 points for gaining or losing positions from where they started, 5 plus 3 points for their respective overtake bonus, resulting in a haul of 21 points for McLaren during the sprint stage. That's it as far as the point scoring during the weekend goes. Let's move on to another essential aspect of the game. Now that you know how the point system works, let's talk about how to pick your team. First of all, you are allowed to create 3 different teams, but for this guide, we won't go into too much depth on that. Instead, let's focus on one team. You have a budget of $100 million to spend on 5 drivers and 2 constructors. Each driver and team has a different value based on their performance history. This means that some teams and drivers will be over and undervalued for this season, as huge developments have been made over the winter break. Once you've picked your team, you can make transfers before each race weekend. This allows you to make changes based on driver and car performance, or if updates are expected that will likely bump a car up the grid order and you want to take a gamble on that team. You will receive 2 free transfers after each weekend, and any subsequent transfer will mean a -4 point penalty. Additionally, 1 unused transfer will carry over to the next weekend. However, it must be used for that weekend, as they will not keep stacking. So you can have a maximum of 3 free transfers for a weekend if you didn't use all transfers the previous weekend. This gives a lot of freedom to strategize and plan your team accordingly. Another important feature in F1 Fantasy is the DRS Boost. This allows you to double the points scored by 1 driver in your team for the race weekend. Be sure to use it strategically to maximize your points. It should be noted that the extra points gained do not affect the points of the constructors. In addition to transfers, you can also use chips to maximize your points, and depending on when you use these chips might just decide whether you beat your friends or not. Each chip can only be used once during the season, and you can only use 1 per race, so it will be interesting to see what type of chip strategies people will come up with. The 2023 season introduces 6 types of chips: Autopilot, Extra DRS, No Negative, Wildcard, Limitless, and Final Fix. Let's explore each one. Autopilot. Autopilot is a chip that changes a DRS boost to the highest scoring driver in your team if they perform better than your original pick. This is particularly helpful in races such as Monaco, where the driver who qualifies first typically earns the most points. Extra DRS Boost. It will give you an additional DRS boost with a 3 times multiplier instead of the regular 2 times. This means that one driver will have a 2 times multiplier, and another driver will have a 3 times multiplier. Be careful though, as your driver may score negative points, which will result in negative points being multiplied. I think this chip will be most useful during a sprint weekend, as a sprint grants you an additional stage to score points during the weekend. The no negative chip will mean that your driver or constructor cannot score any negative points during that weekend. This may also be best utilized during a sprint weekend, as there is a higher risk of scoring negative points due to the increased chance of DNFs, etc. The wildcard chip lets you make unlimited transfers to your team as long as you stay within the cost cap. If a driver or team shows promise mid-season, you could use a wildcard chip to bring them into your team without suffering from the transfer penalty. The limitless chip is one of the most powerful chips in the game. Like the wildcard chip, it allows you to make unlimited transfers to your team, however, only for a single weekend, but with no cost cap. This means that you can bring in any driver or constructor regardless of their price and your budget. This chip can be particularly useful if you want to take advantage of a track that is expected to have a lot of overtaking opportunities. In that case, you may want to bring in a combination of drivers and constructors who you think will overtake a lot and gain a lot of bonus points that way. It's important to remember that your original team will be restored after the weekend. The 6th and final chip is called Final Fix. This chip means you can make a single transfer to your team between the end of qualifying and the start of the race. You will keep the points already scored by the driver or constructor you chose to transfer out, and then you will score points from the incoming transfer for the next session, which may be either the sprint or the race. This chip could also be used in a sprint weekend. Let's say there's a driver that qualifies in a low position. Then you could get them in for the sprint to maximize points for overtakes and positions gained, etc. And there you have it, the ultimate beginner's guide to F1 Fantasy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them. We hope you found this guide useful, and if you felt like it helped, consider leaving a like and subscribe to our channel for more F1 Fantasy tips and tricks in the future. Thanks for watching.